The Science of Self-Realization by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 6, Finding the Cure for Today's Social Ills. If we are not surrendering to the ultimate acausal, we are surrendering to illusion. When we make our journeys, it's not about sightseeing or object acquiring, even if we must do those tasks. The focus should be the spiritual occurrences, what we can do with our intellects, what we can do with our hearts towards those ends. Bhagavad Gita 9:32. Mam he partha vyapasritya yepesyuh papayunayah streyavasyas tatha sudras tepeyante param gatim. Even those born into undesirable situations the ones in the working classes and the merchant classes, they're also supposed to accept transcendence. Now, what can be said for those who have a higher life, right? Who have a more desirable position of existence? Now, what relates to the temporary only, well, that's what we need to remove from our life if we're supposed to remove the moha, the delusion. The tiny world of modern science. Well, one thing that we find out is the more we know, the more we realize that we don't know. The more we realize there's stuff to know, might be a better way to say it. Bhagavad Gita 2:13. Deheno sminyata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jaratatha dehantara praptih. So, we're continually embodying through this body in the various stages of life. But the soul goes on after death. 2:18. Anta vanta immedeha nityas yoktah saririnah. And it's the physical body that goes through the hardship and such, that decays and all that. It's not the soul that dies. And that's difficult for people to understand, right? And what exactly makes life, right? Why does some matter get animated and other matter does not? Now, there are chemical reactions, but that's not quite the same thing as life, now is it? Achintya sakte. There is an unfathomable energy. And if plants, non-human animals, and humans can have such unexplainable qualities, how much more could we say for who created them, right? Now, we can compare things, especially now that we know more about other planets from our observation from afar. We can compare things in sizes and compositions in order to teach us the expansion of the idea of what is possible. Now, some processes are obviously very expensive things, but truth will never be just truth because it can be paid for. Oh, I'm this person pays more, so they're the one that, you know. And one of the things about all our knowledge that we have and the various methods is we realize that to differing degrees there is adokshaja, what is unknowable by direct perception, are perhaps not empirically available, right? There are things empirically available, but it takes steps. A lot of the ideas that the Orientalists referred to as the savage philosopher, well, those ideas, there was something about that, and those ideas ended up being, for the most part, stuff that didn't happen in one generation, unless we say there was revelation, you know, that was is that what happened, right? Bhagavad Gita 4:34, Tad vide prane patenna pare prasnena sevaya. But when we hear about the things that we personally can't or don't know, it is important for us to, get it from the right source. Bhagavad Gita 7:5, Aparayam mitastav anyam prakratam videme param. There's a lot of complaints nowadays about these people complaining about supremacy, and it's like, well, one thing's supreme by choice, one thing's supreme in this way versus another thing, and don't worry about that. There is inferior and superior nature, but that, of course, is to be submissive to ultimate divinity. Bhagavad Gita 7:4, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kamano buddhir avacha ahankara ityam mebina prakritirashtada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and the mind that is developed constitute separated material energies, and these, of course, are ultimately belonging to deity, even though on an individual basis we can say, oh, that's my ego, that's my elemental constituent. But, deity is the ultimate inheritor. Bhagavad Gita 14:4, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murteya sambhavanteya tasam brahma mahad yoniraham bija prada pitta. Whatever species something is born into, well, that is made possible by deity. And deity is the one who put forward those particles. Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Maya yakshana prakriteh suyate sacharacharam. The material nature is under the laws of the divine lawgiver. Whether the beings are moving or not moving. And that's why there's consequences, right? So these laws are put into place. Sarva Karanam. Let us worship the cause of causes, not these causal entities. Yasmin Vijnate Sarvam Evam Vijnatam Bhavata. So if you know the cause, the effects become known. Bhagavad Gita 15:12. Yadadityagatam tejo jagad basyate khelam yach chandramase yach chagnau tat tejo vidde mamakam. The sun in its splendor dispels the darkness in the world, and that is from divinity, in the same way that the moon and the fire is. Bhagavad Gita 10:21. Jyotisham Raviram Suman. Of the lights, I'm the sun in its radiance. And when we think of groups of things, one of the things that comes through in passages like that is that whatever the best is, this is what should be reminding us of what deity actually is. Whatever the most is, Sa se surya netram. The sun and the moon are of your eyes, which are unlimited. Well, the sun and the moon are limited, but again, as far as this planetary system is, we refer to that sun and moon. So let's think about that in an unlimited way. And so also, in knowing of divinity, we know what we're supposed to be regarding things as, or how we're supposed to be functioning in terms of past, present, and future. And if a scripture is truly preserved as revealed, then it has the exact answers for that time. Bhagavad Gita 8:17. Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyad brahmano viduh ratrim yuga sahasrantam tehoratra vido janah. Well, we do have to use human calculation now, don't we? And one of the things about that human calculation is that we add up the ages. 1,000 ages is a Brahma day and also a Brahma night. Some of those things, when we come across them, unveil some very interesting things about the universe. Bhagavad Gita 8:19. Bhuta grama saevayam bhutapa bhutava pralyate ratre agame vasah partha prabhavate aharagame. Repeatedly, when this Brahma day comes about, the living things come about, and they go away when that night comes. And people like to talk about the evolution part of that process and various other things. But what about the spiritual side? What about the spiritual response? And what about that which goes beyond just what a person is going to figure out, sitting around and thinking and measuring and all that sort of stuff? Yasmin vijnate sarvam evam vijnatam bhavate. When we know something great, lesser things are known. Stana eva sah. Being a thief is not recognizing. So you don't have to lie to be of the lie. You may go about your day, may go about your existence, just processing things. But there's a better way to do it.